Welcome back to More Law on Fox 19, your legal questions live, with local broadcaster and award-winning reporter Deb Haas and Cincinnati personal injury attorney Don Moore, recognized by Ohio super lawyers. More answers, more help, more law on Fox 19.
We are back on More Law discussing divorce and child custody today. You can give us a call if you have a question at 513-421-4691. We have another caller now, Joni in Brown County. Joni, you've been married 17 years and you have a question about how things will be divided. Is that right?
Correct.
Can you just tell us a little bit more about your situation?
Okay, we've been married 17 years, separated 9. I was just wondering what I'm entitled to. I never worked throughout the marriage. I didn't have a high school diploma. I just currently got my GED and I'm enrolled in school. And I was just wondering what I'm entitled to. And also, we have 3 children, and until February, he regularly didn't even see them. And I'm wondering if I am considered the legal parent and what rights he has.
Did you say you were separated 9 years?
Yeah.
So the way your assets are going to be divided is going to be a little bit complicated because the court at some point is going to have to determine the date that they're going to look at to value them, whether it's going to be now or 9 years ago or some point in between. So that's going to be an issue in your case, but generally speaking, assets are divided equally. You are not considered the legal custodian. You are both the legal custodians until a court makes a court order giving one of you custody or ordering shared parenting to the 2 of you. So there will have to be a determination, even if they've been living with you and you're the physical custodian, you have no more legal rights at this moment than your spouse does.
And Don, you had something you wanted to add?
Well, yeah, one of the things that I've run into a number of times where Phyllis's area of law and mine overlap. Just a few years ago, we represented a lady who was rendered a quadriplegic by a drunk driver in a car wreck. And she was in her 20s, had a kid and a husband, and her husband just couldn't take it. Basically, he divorced her, and that became part of the personal injury suit. And then there was issues, of course, how things were divided. And I think Phyllis, that's probably something Phyllis has encountered before as well.
You see very extenuating circumstances that can really impact a family's ability to stay together, whether it's an illness of a spouse, the death of a child, the severe illness or disability of children. I've seen cases where there are severely disabled children that one of the parents just can't deal with it, and it winds up creating a situation where there's a divorce.
It's really tough. In this case, actually, we got a judgment for millions, but the marriage just couldn't survive the trauma.
It's very sad when that happens because they're probably both really good people in bad circumstances.
It's nothing that anybody wants.
Right. It's just bad circumstances. Okay.
We have another call now. Joe in Northern Kentucky. Joe?
Yes, I'm wondering if there's still grandparents' rights in Northern Kentucky. I went through a bad divorce, and the mother would keep the children away from me, and now the daughter's starting to do that.
The rights of grandparents are fairly limited because the United States Supreme Court said that parents have a right to raise their children without being told that a grandparent has to see the child. There are exceptions to that, and every state has its own statutes about when a grandparent can be granted parenting time, but it is absolutely not automatic. Not in Kentucky, not in Ohio.
There are a lot of, with divorce and child custody, in reading some of the information that we have, a lot of rules are the same, but are a lot different. I mean, when you talk about, splitting up assets evenly and things like that, but what are some things that are different with the states?
I'm not an expert on Kentucky law. I think that spousal support is handled differently. I think every court is different. Even within Ohio, every county is different. We have 88 counties, and every county is different in how there are not guidelines for spousal support, for example, so judges have their own different approaches. So very state-specific, very county-specific, sometimes very judge-specific.
So you have to get an attorney who really is aware of what's going on in your
county. Yes.
Yeah, the county business is a big deal because a lawyer who may be very familiar with Ohio law going into a county with which they're not familiar, they're liable to get lost, aren't they?
Absolutely. Our counties have their own local rules. For every single county has its own forms, its own local rules, so you really need to know what you're doing.
That's a big deal, isn't it?
It's a very big deal.
And I know we have another caller here. I was not able to hear your name, but please go ahead. Johnny, I believe it is?
Yes.
Hi, can you tell us about why you're calling?
Yeah, my question is, I've been divorced for about 4 years now. My ex-wife was awarded supervised visitation and was told to take child support. She only sees the kids a couple times a year, doesn't seem really interested, and doesn't pay child support. I was wondering, what are my chances of going in and just getting everything terminated?
Slim to none. She still has parental rights. The court is not going to take a parent's rights away. It would be extraordinarily unusual to do that. The fact that she has supervised parenting time and she isn't exercising it is one thing, but to terminate a parent's rights, very, very, very drastic. Generally seen in juvenile court with severely abused and neglected children. Rarely, if ever, seen in a domestic relations court. Wouldn't happen.
It really seems like when all is said and done, the thing that parents, fortunately, are most concerned about, it's not what am I getting from these assets, but what's going to happen to the kids.
What's going to happen to the children, absolutely.
And how does the judge decide, you know, how much time with one parent, how much time with another, shared custody?
They're very complicated questions. They're very case specific. Courts like shared parenting. Shared parenting is not appropriate in every case because it does really require that people make decisions together, which for many people is impossible. When there's abuse, could be substance abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, drug abuse, pornography addiction. There are many, many things that impact how custody is going to be divided. If you have two parents who get along and they're focused on the children, they'll be able to work it out, and they'll probably have a shared parenting plan.
And it's just the best thing for the child. It's already a very difficult situation if you can make it as easy on the kids as possible.
It's the best thing if the parents could look at it, that their marriage is ending, and this is now a business, and the business is raising their children. And you treat your ex-spouse like you would treat your business partner, which is civilly and respectfully. Period.
We could all learn a lesson from that.
Yeah.
And that's easier said than done, isn't
Absolutely.
it? Yeah, that's really tough.
Okay. And we have another caller now. Oh, we don't have another caller right now. I'm told we're going to go to a break. So hang with us. Give us a call, 513-421-4691. We'll be right back. The Kentucky and Ohio Bar Associations require we give the addresses of the attorneys on the show. So here you go. Phyllis Bossin and Associates, 105 East 4th Street, Suite 1300, Cincinnati 45202, and Don Moore at the Moore Law Firm, 1060 Nimitzview Drive, Suite 200, Cincinnati 45230. You can find all their information at Fox19.com. Now, we wanted to go to another caller. Now, I understand we have someone who would like to remain anonymous in Cincinnati. Go ahead. You had a question about losing your job, and you called Child Support Services?
Yes, I had lost my job back in March. I had never had any job paying with, and I've been calling people. The same day I lost my job, I started calling people, and they kept sending me papers in the mail saying that I actually owe more to it. And I'm trying to figure out what can I do in my case. She will not go down and stop child.
The Child Support Enforcement Agency absolutely has to provide legal services to you, but the critical thing for getting your support modified is going to be the date you get a motion filed. So you should really go downtown to the Clerk of Courts at 800 Broadway and file your own handwritten motion, which will at least get the time running that you need to get running to stop the child support. And then the CSEA can come back in later to represent you, but you need to get a motion filed. So if you can't reach them, I would recommend people will help you down there get that motion filed.
I'm sure it is overwhelming. We talk about that. There are so many steps, and you know, most people would not know what to do or who to talk to.
CSEA, unfortunately, is a very large bureaucracy trying to serve many, many, many people. So it is sometimes difficult to reach a human being there, and you have to keep trying to do that because they absolutely have to represent you in such a proceeding. That is their job.
Okay.
Phyllis, one of the things that I recall from years ago is the issue of criminal non-support. This can get very serious very quickly if you don't pay your support, can it?
It can, but in order to get a criminal non-support, there has to be a threshold met of how long you haven't paid and a certain amount you haven't paid. And so it isn't something you can lose your job, not pay, and then somebody's going to prosecute you the next week, because that isn't going to happen.
Years ago, I think they called them Father's Day.
Right.
Am I right?
Yes.
And that's when they would basically have a criminal docket that was just
Non-support,
Yeah.
criminal non-support.
Not the Father's Day we want to be involved in.
Not
No.
so much.
No. We have another caller now. Carol in Northern Kentucky. Carol, how can we help?
This is a situation in our family. We have a 30-year-old man, and he has been dating a woman. They had a baby. They live together, don't live together on off. Even when they're not together, the baby very much is 50-50 from household to household. Fast forward to 3 years, now we are kind of undecided if we like the way she raises him. Certainly not enough to get CPS involved, but some things against our beliefs. Now, no paternity, no custody has been established. When he gets visitation of the boy, does he have to turn him back over to her?
He has no legal rights until paternity is established. So the first thing that he should do is go to the juvenile court in the county where you reside or the child resides and get himself declared to be the father. Until he's legally the father, he has no rights. And getting visitation is at her discretion. So no, he cannot keep the child at all. And if he has concerns, he needs to have his parent-child relationship established and then seek an order after that in the court for custody or specific parenting time.
And I think we have just about a minute and a half left. And Phyllis, could we talk a little bit about, and Don, just what to look for when you're going to an attorney? These are very serious situations.
Yeah, it's a big deal, and Phyllis specifically has a very nice website, talks about qualifications and so on. It's important that a person investigate that. Phyllis, what suggestions would you have as far as people picking a domestic relations lawyer?
They should interview more than one person unless they have a really strong sense of the person that they want to have. They should absolutely visit the website of everybody's name. If they get a name of somebody who has no website or no information on their website, that should cause them some concern. The website should be informative, tell them everything they need to know about the attorney. When they're meeting with an attorney, the most important thing is that there's rapport and they're comfortable and they trust that person and feel good about him. If it's bad chemistry, regardless of the person's qualifications, they should go elsewhere. It's really important that they trust their lawyer.
And the DR lawyers got to know the county where the case is.
Got to know the county, and they really should be that person that does family law and really specializes in it.
And as you've mentioned, this process for both of you, it takes a long time to get from the beginning to the end.
It takes a long time. It can take 2 years. And then there can be post-decree issues, which can go on until children are 18. So you want to have the best representation you can get at the beginning of the case and throughout the case.
All right. Well, Phyllis, thanks for joining me and Don today.
Been a pleasure.
Don, Mr. President, congratulations again.
Stop it.
And well, I'm not going to stop it. We are going to show you now what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. May 14th, Kids in Trouble. May 21st, What to Do If You've Been Hurt on the Job. And on May 28th, Veterans Benefits. Thanks so much for joining us this Monday morning on More Law, and we will see you here next Monday. Have a great day.